Hi, welcome back. We are going to work on another signature for our album, and it is going to be signature 2 for page 2. It'll be on this side here. And I have chosen this piece here as our base piece. It's got the wood grain on the back. And this is still going to follow the same measurements of 8 3/8 by 8 5/8. Now, in your cut-aparts, there are a couple of bows. There's a large bow, and then there's a smaller bow. Now, I've popped this up. I wanted these to stay a little bit flexible, so I didn't put them on cardstock, but this is going to come in here and pop up just like this. I'm going to glue this down so then you can come up under the ribbons as a tuck up here on the top. But putting those on pop-ups gives it just another element of depth. Down here in the corner, I took a scrap piece, a color that I really love, and I've just made a corner tuck down here, and then one of the journaling cards, I mounted it on cardstock, and it's just going to sit like this. Then I took one excuse me, one of the large, what are these, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 cutouts, and I chose this saying, blue is the color of truth. Now on the back side, I did cover this with some paper, but this is out of my scraps. It's 2 pieces, and I seamed them together so that I didn't have to dig into another sheet, another 12 by 12 sheet. So I went to my scraps. So go into your scraps. You at this point have plenty, and find a couple of pieces that you can actually seam together. It went in a nice directional that it didn't matter, and for me, I didn't care if the snowflakes lined up perfectly because there's going to be a photo eventually on this. And then we're just going to have a large photo mat tuck that's going to go down here in the corner with the smaller tuck for other items up above. So let's go ahead and let's kind of get this all put together. Kind of a nice, somewhat quick and easy one to do. And I did ink these on their edges so that they would kind of pop a little bit against the paper. Curl these up just a smidgen. And then I'm going to take the backs off my 2 pop-ups, and then I'm going to kind of curl these up just a little bit. And then they're going to sit right in here like so. And then if I use this as an example, you've got a nice little tuck right there. But let's get this lined. This, oh, I forgot to tell you, this is a, hold on just a second. That's not tearing on the diagonal very well. I think this was 3 by 3, 3.5 by 3.5. So 3.5 by 3.5 square, cut it on the diagonal. And then find your piece that is going to fit it, cut it on the diagonal, and then you can actually put that in. So I'll go ahead and get some glue on the back side of this. I chose this particular piece. It's small. It's one of 2 I found in my scraps, so if I made a boo-boo, I would have another one to use. But I love this piece. It's just got beautiful, I love the contrast. Okay. And I'm going to bring it right down to the corner because I don't want to lose any space in the center by doing an offset, which is what I typically like to do. And then we're going to glue this in, but I'm not going to glue where my fingers are because I don't want it closing down the tuck. It would help if I paid attention to where I put the glue. Okay. And then, now again, I have inked all of my edges and I rounded the corners on this. I just think it gives it a softer look. Okay, I want to make sure I get this set in right before that tape sets up in there. Oops. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Shoot. So annoying. Should have made sure I had this going in the right direction. It's not centered very well, but I'm not going to fuss over it. Okay, so that's done. Now let's get to our flaps. Let's play with the right side first. It's the easiest to assemble. This piece is measuring in at 6 1/4 by the 8 5/8 in your height. And then you're going to score it at 1/2 and then at 5/8. And we need to get them on so we can set the magnets. So we're going to go to the next, we're going to get this on first. I'm going to push back on this score line to kind of remind it of its job. All right, now this piece, I'm going to offset about 1/8 of an inch here. This is coming in at 6 3/4 across by its 8 5/8, and then you're going to score it again at 1/2 and then again at 5/8 of an inch. And this one I did a decorative edge on. Well, come on. There we go. And then I'm going to push back. All right, now we're going to set our magnets. Oh, I have one more to go. Okay, we're going to put it on this side so that it opens to the left. I'm going to come back here about an inch or so. There we go. Then we're going to just add an additional layer of security here. All right, so on the inside panel, I chose this piece, this 12 by 12 piece. It's got the clocks, it's got some stars and some wording, and then on the reverse side, this was that big circle piece. So I'm putting it one side over here. And then I ran the decorative edge, and this is going to fit in over here. I fussy cut out the skates, and that's going to go down here as a tuck. And then I fussy cut the teacup, that's going to go over here. And it leaves you lots of room to put some decent sized photos here on these two pages. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one glued in because there's no magnet right here. And on this right side flap, I simply rounded my corners. Where's my teacup? Here's my teacup. And I'm just going to run some tape here across the base. And we're just going to set it right here. Now we have a nice little pocket, and like I said, you still have plenty of room up here for a photo. And then we are going to, I am going to tape this down. You can choose to glue if that's what you want to do. I make so many mistakes that I quite often do need to get in there and either adjust where they're sitting at, or I underestimated the thickness of a signature, and I had to sneak in there and put in an extra one. I don't know how much of this I have left on this spool. The spool has given up the ghost long time ago. It's so thin that it doesn't even stay together anymore. I just hope I have enough on here to get all the way to the end. Okay. I'm going to turn it over, and it's easier to burnish it that way. But now I've got to tuck all the tape back behind. No, not too bad. Okay, let's set this. I was holding my breath on that. I was so nervous it was going to go down wrong and I was going to have to pull it back up. All right. Now we will tape this piece down, and it will be an easy attachment because it's only scalloped corners. I use my fingernails to try and round those corners a little bit. I wish they'd make this with one corner a 1/4 inch round and the other one a 1/2 inch round. So then you could, it would work so nice. All right, ta-da, oops, flinging it across my workstation here. Ta-da. We need to put the roller skates down on this side. I'm just going to tape here across the bottom. And then I'm going to roll back the tape so that it's not so visible. All right, so far, and then we're going to add this. Now, don't do that. Now this, okay, so this is the front of the sheet that I use. These are the two pieces right here. And on the top of this piece was this star. So I cut it out and I mounted it, and I'm just going to put it up here as an additional larger raised up embellishment on this side. And I can also see that I failed to ink this, so bear with me, 2 shakes. All All right. Easy peasy this time. And then I'm going to line this up before that glue sticks. Come on. Okay, I think it looks good. Well, it's as good as it's going to get because that glue set up. It sets up really super fast. It's okay, I get used to it, so I anticipate that it's going to do that. And then I've got strips on the back of this to raise this star up a little bit so that there, like I said, that there's an element of height to this. There we go. And I am going to take my Winkastella and I am just going to add that here to the turquoise beads to give it just a little pop. Whoa, that's coming out fast. Spread some of that around a little bit. Now, do I do that? And do I do the one in the center? I can always come back and do the one in the center. Just let me leave it the way that it is for now. I'm trying to dry it so that when I turn it over, is that still wet? Yes, come on. I need to put tape on the back side of this so I can put it in the album. Well, okay, that was probably a mistake. I should have waited until it was done and in the book. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it over. You're going to put your whitest tape here around the edge and then put 2 down the center. And then you are going to come in and lay it into your album like so. So we'll just pretend that I'm done. I've got to give it about 10 minutes or so that that dries, and I'm not going to leave you on video while that happens. So I'll see you when we come back for this one. Until then.